Halifax had many visitors during her period of stress, but none were better cared for than those who brought back only hurt bodies and weary minds. For these were the men from back of beyond, where time stops and space begins. Men who had come back from the hell and inferno that was war. Halifax knew them of old and gave anew. But there came too an alien breed, a race of men whose arrogance and desire for power had set the world aflame. And to the Bismarck prisoners of war, Halifax offered only the courtesies of conquest. Visitors of a more welcome nature also arrived at Halifax. Perhaps none held greater significance than that of Princess Juliana of the Netherlands. For the resulting goodwill of the Allies in war provided in peace a solid foundation for export trade. Time and space had shrunk, and war brought an international outlook to Canadian people. Canada's council in international organizations gained the respect of greater and lesser nations. The visit of Juliana and other distinguished persons did much towards broadening the base of Canada's foreign relations. But the greatest figure of all was a man whose spellbinding oratory was world famous. A man who, with a few simple words, had given his people in their blackest hour the courage and strength to fight on. A man who, in his tenacious pugnacity, seemed the epitome of John Bull himself, the incomparable Churchill. The world will never forget his tribute, never have so many owed so much to so few, nor will it ever properly evaluate the worth to free men of his blood, sweat, and tears. Few men are given to accomplish so much. As the long struggle ran its course, Halifax experienced the more visible aspects of war-making. Aluminum salvage drives brought thousands of children with pots and pans into the theaters. Private enterprises used billboards to urge upon the civilian home front conservation of the foodstuffs and materials of war. Periodically, the Victory Loan campaigns gave the city a carnival-like appearance. The attendant rallies provided lavish programs for which the entire city turned out to be entertained and to do their share. The street parades were always successful, for Halifax saw in these streams of resourceful men something of her own ideals and aspirations. Ideals and aspirations which lay deep-rooted in her past, a heritage from those unyielding forebears who fought to carve out their freedom. And then the final curtain fell. Back from the battlefields came those men upon whom the fortunes of war had smiled. They were a gallant crew, those men who had fought the good fight and won the unsought glory. And the joy of the people of Canada swept aside all the wartime hurt as they welcomed back their sons, fathers, and sweethearts. Halifax was the main point of debarkation, the first Canadian soil upon which their eager feet had trod in many years. And Haligonians, acting as official greeters for the rest of Canada, made full display of their traditional warmth and enthusiasm. These were the men who had pierced the Gothic line, inched up Italy, battered the Nazi at Bloody Khan, freed the Channel ports, and captured the Scheldt estuary to force a toehold into Germany itself. As they started their last forced march, these weary veterans looked forward to the realization of that vision they glimpsed in the long nights of war, a vision of peace and plenty, in a Canada where brotherhood and understanding have created a dominion from sea to sea. Today, Canada's export trade, born of her war effort, is her best assurance of lasting prosperity. Halifax is the logical transshipment point for that trade. The men who did such miraculous work loading the tools of war are today loading the products of a free world. The soldier still remembers, and the sailor never forgets. As prospers Halifax, so prospers Canada. The sea gives, and the sea takes. And in the endless pageant rolling through the years, the sea has truly given Halifax just claim to the title, Gateway to the World.